Can the Philippines rise to become Asia's next superpower? Sounds ambitious, right? But let's pause for a second. Could it actually happen? And more importantly, does the Philippines have a game plan to make it happen? Let's dig in. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. No way! Not with the economic struggles, military limitations, or technology gaps. But here's something to chew on. Every superpower we know today started off in the exact same boat. They all faced their fair share of hurdles, yet they still managed to rise. And the Philippines? It's no exception. Sure, it's not quite there yet, but it's moving in the right direction. The pieces are starting to come together, and you've got to wonder, what if the Philippines really could become the next big force in Asia? Think it's impossible? Some might scoff and say, not in a million years. But before you jump to conclusions, let's take a look at Singapore. Decades ago, Singapore was struggling. Economic setbacks, political uncertainty, you name it. Fast forward to today, and it's one of the wealthiest and most advanced nations on the planet. If Singapore can pull it off, who's to say the Philippines can't? And here's a fun fact. The Philippines wasn't always an underdog. Back in the day, it was known as the Tiger of Asia, a country roaring with potential. So, could we be on the brink of a comeback for this once dominant nation? Let's explore. History proves it's possible. Take America in 1869. The country was fresh out of a brutal civil war, licking its wounds and rebuilding from the ashes. Fast forward just 100 years to 1969, and the US wasn't just a wealthy global powerhouse, it put a man on the moon. Think about that for a second. Or how about Japan? In 1870, it was still a feudal society trying to figure out its next move. Then came World War II, leaving the country devastated, nuclear bombings, cities in ruins. But did Japan crumble? Nope. By 1970, Japan had transformed into the world's third wealthiest nation. So here's the question. If America did it, if Japan did it, if Singapore did it, why not the Philippines? Think about it. Germany wasn't even a unified country until 1871. Yet within decades, it transformed into a global powerhouse. Then came World War I and World War II, two devastating blows that left the country shattered. But did Germany stay down? Far from it. Like a phoenix rising from the ashes, it rebuilt itself. And by 1970, it was already the fourth richest country in the world. Eventually, it reunited, proving that resilience and strategic growth can overcome even the darkest chapters. And look at India. Once a British colony, India has emerged as a global force. It's now a nuclear power and boasts the seventh largest economy on the planet. Sure, it still faces challenges like poverty, but its upward climb is undeniable. India's journey shows that big obstacles don't have to be dead ends. They can be stepping stones to greatness. So here's the big question. If Germany and India could do it, why not the Philippines? Before World War II, the Philippines was no underdog. In fact, it was the richest country in Southeast Asia, second only to Japan. Manila wasn't just a city. It was a symbol of progress, earning itself the nickname Paris of Asia. European charm? Check. Cutting-edge infrastructure? You bet. Imagine this. A city filled with modern amenities, sleek electric trams, and state-of-the-art infrastructure that rivaled even the United States. The Philippines was a trailblazer. It didn't stop there either. The country launched Asia's very first airline and introduced the region's first LRT and MRT systems. Here's something even more fascinating. South Korea's president reportedly visited the Philippines, studying and modeling their highways and expressways after the ones here. That's right. At one point, the Philippines wasn't just successful, it was inspiring its neighbors to level up too. So what happened? And more importantly, could the Philippines rise again? history proves it's possible. Countries like Germany, Japan, and India show us that setbacks don't define a nation's future. Its resilience does. But before we dive into whether the Philippines can claim its place as a superpower, let's take a step back. What does it actually mean to be a superpower? Simply put, it's a nation with the kind of muscle, military, economic, technological, and political, that lets it influence the entire world. These countries don't just play the game, they write the rules. Think of it as standing tall on four pillars: a strong military, a booming economy, cutting-edge technology, and global political influence. Right now, two countries sit at the top of the superpower pyramid: the United States and China. Their reach is global, their influence undeniable. But here's where it gets interesting. When you look back at the Philippines, especially during the days of Jose Rizal, the story takes a surprising turn. The Philippines wasn't always seen as the underdog. During that era, it was one of Asia's wealthiest societies, thriving through global trade. The country was deeply connected to the world, exporting valuable resources and even making strides in technological advancements. And get this, Manuel Quezon, the first president of the Philippine Commonwealth, had some bold ideas. In his writings, he envisioned a future where the Philippines wouldn't just be a thriving nation, it would be an imperial power. Quezon imagined annexing regions like the East Indies and Malay Asia, aiming to create a formidable force in Southeast Asia. So, what happened? And what does this tell us about the Philippines' potential today? During Quezon's time, the Philippines was no stranger to industrial progress. As a U.S. Commonwealth, it tapped into the vast American market, building industries and strengthening its economy. The competition grew so fierce that American farmers lobbied for Filipino independence, not because they supported freedom, but because they wanted to eliminate their biggest economic rival. Think about that for a second. The Philippines was once a major player, standing toe-to-toe with global giants. It was pushing forward, innovating, and inspiring ambition in its leaders. So here's the question we need to ask. Can the Philippines rise again to claim its place on the world stage? Let's explore the history, the setbacks, and the untapped potential of a country that once led Southeast Asia alongside nations like Malaysia, Singapore, and Indonesia. Because if history has taught us anything, it's that greatness can be reclaimed. After World War II, the Philippines didn't just sit back and rebuild. It stood tall as a rising military and economic force in Asia. In fact, by 1968, Ferdinand Marcos took inspiration from Manuel Quezon's vision in the book Someday Malaysia, and even attempted to invade Malaysia. The ambition was clear. The Philippines had momentum. According to the World Bank, the economy soared between 1964 and 1982. Let's talk numbers. The country's GDP skyrocketed from $5 billion to $37 billion, while GDP per capita more than quadrupled, climbing from just $175 to $741. That was the highest point the nation had ever seen. And this wasn't a lucky streak. Even as the world wrestled with high interest rates, economic recessions, and oil price hikes, the Philippines held its ground, maintaining an impressive 5.8% annual growth rate in GDP per capita. But that's not all. Marcos's Green Revolution completely reshaped the country's agriculture. Over 2 decades, rice production doubled, turning the Philippines into a rice exporter for the first time in the 20th century. Imagine that. A nation that once struggled with shortages was now feeding others. Fast forward to today, and the Philippine economy tells a story of both promise and challenges. Let's break it down. Growth and development. Before the pandemic hit, the economy was booming, growing at an impressive 6 to 7% per year. making it one of Southeast Asia's fastest risers. Sure, the recent years have thrown some hurdles, global pressures, local challenges, but the growth potential is still very much alive. A diverse economy. The Philippines has its hands in everything: manufacturing, agriculture, tourism, and services. But let's zoom in on the service industry. It's a game changer. From call centers that cater to global clients, to remittances sent home by millions of hard-working Filipinos abroad, this sector pumps life into the economy. And let's not forget tourism, a major job creator and cash booster for the country. Still, challenges remain. Knows that to keep up the momentum, they need to build a stronger foundation. That's where the Build, Build, Build program comes in. Massive infrastructure projects are underway: roads, bridges, airports, and more, all aimed at boosting job creation, improving cash flow, and attracting investors for the long haul. And speaking of investments, foreign investors are still betting big on the Philippines, especially in areas like real estate and infrastructure. To sweeten the deal, the government is making strategic moves, streamlining policies, cutting red tape, and offering incentives to businesses ready to invest. The Philippines isn't just sitting back. It's opening its doors to the world through international trade deals, unlocking new opportunities and bigger possibilities. But let's be real. Progress is one thing. Staying competitive on the global stage is another. Becoming a major player, or even a superpower, in Asia, that's a tall order. And it won't happen overnight. It's going to take a solid game plan, and the Philippines will need to focus on a few critical areas to get there. First up, keeping the economy on a steady growth track. That means serious investment in education to build a skilled, future-ready workforce. It means embracing cutting-edge technologies and improving infrastructure to attract investors who are looking for the next big thing. This is where the groundwork gets laid for long-term success. But that's not all. Political stability is just as important. A country that runs on fairness, transparency, and integrity sends a strong signal. Businesses can trust their investments here. And trust, that's gold. It brings confidence, international funding, and more economic opportunities. Speaking of investments, let's talk infrastructure. Strong roads, airports, ports, and digital networks are the lifeblood of businesses. Without them, progress stalls. That's why the Philippine government is doubling down on this area, pouring resources into building the backbone the economy needs to thrive. But here's the million-dollar question. Is the Philippines on the path to becoming a leading force in Asia? Let's look at what's coming. By 2040, experts predict something big. The Philippines could have one of the largest agricultural research systems in Asia. For a country that's long relied on its farmlands, this would be a game changer, driving innovation and growth on a massive scale. And here's where things get even more ambitious. The Philippine Space Agency. Yes, you heard that right. The country is already thinking beyond Earth. By 2040, they're not only aiming to launch their second satellite, but have their sights set on Mars. It's a bold vision, but bold visions are what fuel progress. At the same time, the Philippines is shifting gears, economically. The reliance on agriculture is starting to take a backseat to services and manufacturing, sectors that are driving growth. And it's paying off. Since 2010, the economy has been climbing steadily, averaging around 6% annual growth. By 2040, the Philippines is poised to make some serious noise on the global stage. It's on track to join the Tiger Cub economies, standing tall alongside Indonesia, Malaysia, Vietnam, and Thailand. While agriculture has long been the backbone of the economy, the country is steadily industrializing and diversifying, creating a balanced, future-ready economy. But don't count agriculture out just yet. By 2040, it will still play a crucial role, with about 35% of the Filipino workforce in the sector, contributing a solid 9.5% to the economy. And here's where it gets exciting. The Philippines isn't just surviving in agriculture, it's thriving. Imagine this: the third largest producer of coconuts in the world and the #1 exporter of coconut products. Pineapples? The Philippines is expected to become the largest producer on the planet. And when it comes to rice, the nation is gearing up to take the top spot globally, producing a staggering 4% of the world's rice supply. Sugarcane farming is also set to boom. Right now, 17 provinces are cultivating sugarcane, but by 2040, 25 more will join the ranks, helping the country become the largest sugar producer in the world. On the industrial front, things are shifting into high gear. The automotive and aerospace sectors are already making waves. Did you know the Philippines produces ABS plastic used by luxury car brands like Mercedes-Benz, BMW, and Volvo? By 2040, the country's automotive market is expected to explode, with 1 million cars sold annually and global car brands racing to get a piece of the action. Electronics is another powerhouse industry. For over 2 decades, the Texas Instruments plant in Baguio has been leading the world in producing DSP chips. Fast forward to 2040, and this same plant is expected to supply all the chips for Nokia phones and 90% of the chips used in cell phones worldwide. With advancements in agriculture, manufacturing, and technology, the Philippines is building a strong case to become a major player in the global economy. But there's more to this story: mining and clean energy, digging deep into the future. The Philippines is blessed with an abundance of natural resources, and it's about to turn those resources into power, literally. By 2040, the country plans to produce an impressive 3,000 megawatts of clean electricity from geothermal sources alone. A huge leap toward a sustainable, green energy future. But that's not all. Newly discovered natural gas reserves in the Visayas Islands are expected to provide even more energy, fueling economic growth for decades to come. And then there's the treasure beneath the ground. The Philippines is sitting on massive reserves of gold, nickel, copper, and palladium. By 2040, the country isn't just going to mine these resources, it's going to lead the world. Picture this: the Philippines as the top global producer of nickel and the second largest producer of cobalt. Mineral exports alone are projected to hit a jaw-dropping $8 billion, positioning the country as a heavyweight in the mining sector. Shipbuilding and repair. The Philippines is already making waves in the global shipbuilding industry. With 118 registered shipyards as of 2021, it's a key player. But here's the kicker: by 2040, the Philippines is projected to become the second largest shipbuilder in the world. Imagine a booming fleet, expanding repair services, and an industry driving massive economic growth. It's not just about ships, it's about shaping the future. Tourism. Now let's talk about tourism, the lifeblood of the Philippine economy. By 2024, the travel and tourism sector is set to pump nearly 10% into the country's GDP. Think about it: stunning beaches, world-class diving spots, and destinations like Boracay, Palawan, Cebu, and Siargao welcoming millions. Coastal tourism alone will account for a jaw-dropping 25% of tourism revenue. Fast forward to 2040, and here's a bold prediction: the Philippines could become the second most popular tourist destination worldwide, drawing in 15 million visitors annually. With its breathtaking landscapes, vibrant culture, and the warmth of its people, the Philippines isn't just a destination, it's an experience. Philippine military. Let's shift gears to the Armed Forces of the Philippines, AFP. Comprising the Air Force, Army, and Navy, the AFP is set to undergo a remarkable transformation. By 2040, the country's military manpower will reach a staggering 70 million, including 1 million active personnel. This will catapult the Philippines to the 15th spot in global military strength rankings. It's a testament to the nation's growing regional influence. Development in the South China Sea now. Here's where things get even more interesting. By 2040, the Philippines and Vietnam are expected to ink a groundbreaking deal to jointly develop oil resources in the South China Sea, a game-changer for energy independence. On top of that, the Philippines is gearing up to sign 200 oil and gas exploration contracts with foreign companies. Offshore exploration will flourish, making the nation the second-largest oil reserve holder in the Asia-Pacific region. A rising superpower? So, the big question, could the Philippines emerge as a major superpower in Asia? With its untapped natural resources, surging industries, and growing global presence, the signs are looking promising. The road ahead is exciting, and the possibilities are endless. What do you think? Could the Philippines rise to global prominence? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more.